The alarm blared throughout the vessel, its harsh tone signaling a catastrophic systems failure. Captain Trill clutched the edge of his command chair, all 6 of his pale blue fingers gripping tightly as the ship shuddered around him. "Status. Report," he demanded, his translucent skin flushing a deep indigo with stress. First Officer Neck swiveled her elongated neck toward him. "Main propulsion system has failed. Hull breach detected in Sector 7. Life support operating at 40% capacity and falling." The stellar Voyager, pride of the Galactic Confederation's exploration fleet, drifted helplessly in the void, between stars. What should have been a routine mapping mission of the Orion Arm had turned into a potential disaster when they'd passed through an uncharted debris field. "How long until complete system failure?" Captain Trill asked, trying to keep his voice steady for the benefit of his crew. "Approximately 2 hours," replied Nex, her compound eyes blinking rapidly as she processed the data. "We've sent distress signals, but the nearest Confederation vessel is 3 days away." A heavy silence fell over the bridge, broken only by the persistent alarm and the soft beeping of failing systems. The crew of 12 represented some of the finest minds from 6 different species across the Galactic Confederation, all except one. "Where is Reed?" Captain Trill suddenly asked. As if summoned by the mention of his name, the communication panel lit up. "Engineering to bridge. Reed here." Reed was the ship's lone human engineer, a Deathworlder, as many species called those, from high-gravity, high-danger planets like Earth. The Confederation had only recently permitted humans to join their ranks, and many crew members still regarded Reed with a mixture of fascination and unease. "Reed, what is your assessment?" Trill asked. "The damage is severe, Captain," Reed replied, his voice remarkably calm. "But I believe I can repair the propulsion system. I'll need to perform an EVA." First Officer Nex chittered in alarm. "An EVA? In open space with no safety tethers? That's suicide." "It's our only option," Reed countered. "The damaged section can't be reached from inside the ship." Captain Trill hesitated. Sending any crew member into the vacuum of space with improvised equipment went against every safety protocol in Confederation manuals. But humans had evolved on a planet that constantly tried to kill them. Perhaps that gave Reed an edge that the others lacked. "Very well, Reed, proceed with caution." 20 minutes later, the bridge crew watched in stunned silence as Reed's environmental suit-clad figure appeared on the external cameras. The human moved with surprising grace despite the bulky suit, magnetic boots anchoring him to the ship's hull as he approached the damaged section. "Look at that," whispered Kiv, the ship's xenobiologist. "He's not even using a safety line." "Humans are either extraordinarily brave or extraordinarily foolish," remarked Nex. "I'm still not sure which." Reed's voice came through the comm system, slightly distorted by static. "I can see the problem. Micrometeor impact sheared through the main coolant line and damaged the propulsion manifold. I'm going to attempt repairs now." The alien crew watched, in fascination as Reed worked methodically in the vacuum of space. His movements were precise, deliberate, seemingly unaffected by the knowledge that only a thin layer of specialized fabric separated him from instant death. "His heart rate is barely elevated," noted the ship's medical officer, Dren, who monitored Reed's vitals. "Any other species would be in panic mode by now." "Deathworlders," Captain Trill said with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "They live their entire lives surrounded by dangers we can barely comprehend." An hour passed as Reed skillfully bypassed damaged systems, rerouted power conduits, and sealed the hull breach with emergency patches. The temperature outside the ship hovered near absolute zero. Radiation bombarded his suit. The nearest habitable world was light years away. Yet the human worked as calmly as if he were fixing a kitchen appliance. "Captain," Reed's voice crackled through the comm, "I've bypassed the damaged coolant system. I'm now reconnecting the propulsion manifold." "How is that possible?" Nex exclaimed. "That system requires specialized tools we don't have on board." "I improvised," Reed replied simply. The bridge crew exchanged glances of disbelief. Improvisation was not a concept that came naturally to most Confederation species, who relied on established protocols and procedures. A tense half-hour later, Reed's voice returned. "Repairs complete, Captain. You can initiate startup sequence." "Captain," Trill gave the order, hardly daring to hope. The ship hummed as systems came back online. The propulsion drive engaged successfully, and life support readings began to climb. When Reed returned through the airlock, removing his helmet to reveal a sweat-streaked face with a satisfied smile, the alien crew regarded him with new eyes. "How did you do it?" asked Kiv, unable to contain his curiosity. "You had minimal tools, no safety protocols, and faced conditions that would kill most sentient species." Reed shrugged, a uniquely human gesture. "On Earth we have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When failure means death, you find a way to succeed." Captain Trill approached the human engineer, his skin now a calm blue. "The Confederation has much to learn from humans, it seems." "And we have much to learn from you," Reed replied diplomatically. "But there's one advantage to evolving on a death world. You never take survival for granted." As the Stellar Voyager resumed its journey, the story of the human who fixed an impossible problem while floating in the void of space spread throughout the ship. To the alien crew, it was nothing short of miraculous. To Reed, it was simply another day as a human in a universe that constantly presented new challenges to overcome. In the weeks that followed, the alien crew no longer kept their distance from the Deathworlder among them. Instead, they sought his company, eager to understand the species that thrived in adversity rather than merely surviving it. And Captain Trill made a note in his log. "Perhaps the greatest discovery in our mission is not what lies beyond the stars, but what humanity brings to them, the remarkable ability to face the impossible and find a way forward."